Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh, yeah.
And we're live, guys. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Nick Goberkeller, and I am the singer and guitarist of Almost Gone and guitarist of the metal band Seasons.
I am Mindy Jackson. I'm the vocalist for Dying Oath and What Lies Beneath.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Trying to figure something out here. Sorry. All right, I'll start off with a hard question that I ask every episode. What do you want to leave as your legacy?
I'm sure Mindy has a much cooler answer for this than I do, so I'm going to hear hers first.
Honestly, I just want people to remember me as somebody who helped people, that made people happy. I think everybody's going to think of me as a musician, and that's one thing, but that's just a facet of my life. It's not really who I am. So I just want people to remember me as somebody that really loved people and wanted to help people.
It's kind of weird that you asked that because I was actually thinking about a question along these lines earlier today, probably because of the single that Almost Gone is getting ready to release in November. Here goes the shameless promotion plug. But I wrote a song that Mindy collabed with us on about how staying in your comfort zone will kill your potential. And I was thinking about my purpose in life for some reason earlier today, and I was thinking I would want my legacy to be like helping people to step outside of what what their normal routine is and realizing their potential. I think if that's what at the end of the road I'm remembered for, I'll be pretty happy with that.
That's awesome.
All right, this goes out for both of you. When you were a kid, what is that one thing that an older person said to you that as an adult was bullshit?
Oh,
Where do you start with that one?
yeah.
That pop into my head immediately. Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. Don't go out in the cold. You'll get pneumonia.
When you're driving in a car and like the lights are on, the interior lights, that you can get pulled over for that for some reason. I was told that. Oh, here's a weird one. So when I was like 5 or 6, I have an older brother. He's like 10. So we were trick or treating. Okay. And we went to this one house, and it's my dad, my brother, and me. And we knocked on the door, and the guy didn't answer. And he was in his backyard gardening or something. And it was like dark out. I don't know why the fuck this guy, in hindsight, it's weird that he was working in the garden. But he came around and he saw us. He was like, "Oh, hey, what are you guys here for?" He was a single guy living by himself. And my dad told me he was burying severed heads in the backyard. I don't know if he just thought it was funny or what, but for years after that, I thought that guy killed people. I'm sure he didn't. It stuck with me for a long time.
That's amazing.
I think my favorite thing was whistling in the house. You'll bring the devil up. I mean, I get now playing ball in the house. I get it because I did break a lamp once, but I'm just saying in general. All right, I'll ask the fun one now.
Please.
I know I always ask this because I always want to see where people's minds go on this. Last Supper scenario. Who's your 12 people? They could be cartoons, they can be musicians, they could be family members.
Oh
And what are
shit!
you serving?
What are we serving? Probably. Shit. So many
Serving
options.
shit, you say?
Yeah, no, not that. Probably not. That's probably not what I would have for my last meal. Probably Thai food. I'm a big Thai food guy. I love really spicy Thai food. And my 12, just off the top of my head, I would have all of Motley Crue, like 4 or 5 of my close friends, my grandfather on my mom's side, and um, Elvis Presley. It'd be a really interesting, eclectic mix of people. You'd probably come into some like really awesome conversation. I could ask Elvis what songs he wrote and which ones he stole, which I think is all of them. But it'd be interesting to see how he goes about that question. Motley Crue, they could tell us about all the drugs they did.
Okay.
That's a good answer, actually. It's a really good answer. I think I would probably serve Italian food because I just cannot get enough of it. I don't care how old I get or like what happens in my life. Always Italian food for my special occasions. I should have been Italian. I'd say definitely probably my band members. I'd say actually probably Nick because this guy he definitely knows how to have a good time for sure. Probably Jesus simply because I think he'd have a lot of stories to tell. Marilyn Monroe. I'd love to know what actually happened with that. And probably the rest, just a few of my closest friends.
What would you guys have to drink?
Wine, definitely.
Hell yeah.
I'm a wino.
Nice.
What is that one band that you do not ever want to follow?
Like we don't. Oh, like on stage,
Yeah.
like they play before us. Ooh. Shit, that's a long list. I would say this surprised me, but Rob Zombie. I saw Rob Zombie a couple years ago, and that is the most underrated live performance I've ever seen. When you talk about great singer guitar duos, people talk about like Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen, and David Lee Roth. Rob Zombie and John Five should definitely be in that conversation. John Five is amazing. Their showmanship, not just those two, but the whole production is just. If you haven't seen them yet, you have to see them. It's you don't have to be a Rob Zombie fan to just go. Like I seriously think a deaf person could go to a Rob Zombie show and just be blown the fuck away. Yeah, they'd be hard to follow.
I was actually at the show. It was Johnny Five's birthday.
Nice.
And Peter from Kiss came out to wish him happy birthday.
Wow, that's really cool.
Like, as an average concert goer, or just in general, like when you bring other people on stage, that's like the highlight for me.
Yeah.
I think that is the coolest thing ever. Even if it's for a minute, and especially bring kids on stage, that is like the coolest thing ever you could do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I saw Gojira when they came through Richmond last. I forget the name of the song, but they have a song with Randy Blythe from Lamb of God, and they had never played it live ever until that night because Randy's from Richmond, and like I saw him creeping around like in the back of the stage. Like you can't miss him. His dreads are like 3 feet long. I was like, there's no way that's actually him. And then he came out on stage and played the song with them, and it was the roof just blew off the place after that.
MJ, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I want to know, like, what is the best concert that you've ever been to? Like, collectively, what's your favorite so far?
Wait, me or Robert?
You.
Yeah.
My favorite I've ever been to. Well, Dying Oath would be number one. Shoot. I saw Kiss a couple years ago. They were amazing. That's another concert where you could be deaf and still be blown away by it. Like, you could not be a fan of their music at all. You could hate Kiss, but like all the like bombs and shit going off, it's awesome. I'd say the same thing about Tool. Their just visuals and everything are amazing. Um, I'm gonna have to turn in my rock card for this, and if this guy got blasted over Twitter, that'd be the death of me. But Machine Gun Kelly puts on an amazing show. Um, he has a lot of really cool production. His band is very underrated. His drummer plays just like Travis Barker, um, which I'm a huge fan of. Yeah.
So, what's one show that you want to go to?
Want to go to. Like if I could go for free,
Yeah, if you could go right now to any concert, what would it be?
probably when we were young festival next year.
That's a good answer.
That would channel into the 14-year-old version of me very well. Like if I could like make a concert happen right now, of a band where all the members are still alive, it would be System of a Down. Definitely. I don't know that those guys play concerts at all together, but that would be on the list. Do they?
Very rarely. They did play a couple of years ago. About 2 years ago. Have you not seen them live yet?
No, I haven't. And like my two favorite bands when I was a kid were System of a Down and Linkin Park. Like I probably wouldn't be into rock music if it weren't for those two bands. So obviously I can't see Linkin Park, so System of a Down would be, probably my number one or close to it.
All right. Since you said if you can make your own bill, I'm going to let you make your own bill. 2-day festival. First day is female fronted. Second day is mixed matched. And it can be live or dead.
Live or dead. Okay. First day is female fronted. I'd have, I don't know if you know this band, I'd have Vixen, Lita Ford, Hailstorm, not female fronted, but they have a female. It's basic, almost female fronted. Is fucking Skillet, Paramore. So that'd be my first day. Second, this is a hodgepodge of a festival too. I got 80s rock, I got emo, I got all kinds of shit. Second day, I'd probably have. I'm gonna have Megadeth headline. I'd have Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. I'd have System of a Down. I would have there's this kid named Kenny Hoopla. If you haven't heard of him, he's awesome. I'd have him playing, and I would have who else am I gonna throw in there? We'll throw in the serious nostalgia factor. We'll throw Def Leppard in. So everybody from the age of 30 to 65 would be excited to go to this festival.
That's awesome.
MJ, what's your pick?
Oh, that's super hard. I have such a long list in my head. For the first day, I would probably have, of course, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar. Those are my favorites. Stevie Nicks, definitely some Paramore, Hellstorm. Evanescence, probably Alanis Morissette, um, Kitty for sure. Uh, that's it's all over the board for sure. My second day, I would probably do Korn, Deftones, Def Leppard. That was a good pick. Kiss. I definitely want to see them again. That was fantastic. Um, Cold, which is one of my favorite bands. Um, yeah, Metallica. I definitely want to see Metallica again.
All right, since this has been circling around constantly, I know you've seen it on Facebook everywhere. Who do you think is underrated, overrated bands at the moment?
Ooh, man, these are some good questions. Really making me think. Um, I don't know. Mandy, do you have a cool answer for this while I think of mine?
Uh, that's hard. Hmm. It's hard for me to pick somebody who's overrated because I think a lot of bands, even if I don't like them, it's hard to choose because I think everybody earns their right to be here. Hmm, that's hard.
Like for an underrated band, just one that comes to mind immediately. I know there's a lot of hype around Journey, but like listen to like Journey's like early records. Um, right when they first got Steve Perry, like even then, his vocals are like from a technical standpoint are fucking mind blowing. At least to me, like some of the runs he would do. Um, yeah, they would definitely be on my underrated list, even though they're Hall of Famers and everything. I mean, I'm a fan of the Beatles. I got a Beatles record hanging on my wall behind me, but I'd say they're pretty overrated in my opinion, honestly.
That's really funny you say that because I was thinking of the same thing. Like, I love the Beatles and a lot of those bands back then, like the Doors, absolutely love the Doors. But I feel like if they were in any other time, like now, they would definitely be overrated bands for sure.
Yeah,
Most underrated to me, I think, though, most underrated band. I know once again it's a band that's pretty big right now, but Hailstorm, man, her voice, I don't care what she's doing, what she's singing about, her voice is just flawless at every point, every single second of the day.
yeah, like to say a band is overrated, it almost kind of implies that like I'm an anti fan of them, which is not the case. But like we talk all the time about like guitar and like how difficult it is to be innovative on guitar now because there's been so many guitarists in history and so many people have tried so many things. And it's like think about like Deep Purple or like Black Sabbath, how simple the riffs were, but that was innovative at the time. It's like
Yeah.
like that's all you had to fucking do to be outside the box. Like those are great, iconic songs, but in a way, I guess I would say they're a little overrated.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what's your comfort song?
Comfort song. I like I really like George Strait. I know that's outside of what we're talking about completely, but like I'm not a I used to be a big country music fan, and I still am of that kind of stuff, like the kind of old school Alan Jackson, George Strait. I don't when Florida Georgia Line came out, I just couldn't really listen to country radio anymore. I like them, but I don't like all the copycats that came after them. But I like I like George Strait a lot. That's probably my comfort music. Or here's another thing out of left field. Miles Davis. My father-in-law got me into Miles Davis, and now I've got Miles Davis vinyls. When we're having a nice Sunday dinner at the house, we got Miles Davis on the record player.
Oh. I think for me, you mentioned this band a little bit earlier, but Journey, anything with Journey, that's what my mom used to use when I was a kid to put me to sleep. It's still kind of what I listen to a lot of the time to kind of chill and just hang out. I'm really a fan of the blues as well, but Journey's probably the number one comfort thing for me because it makes me think of my mom.
Yeah, another one for me would be Sinatra. I can't believe I didn't throw that in. But when uh, when my grandfather passed, we were allowed to take a couple of things of his as like remembrance things, and my mom let me have his Sinatra record, and that is probably my favorite record. And the reason I say probably is because I also have my mom's 1967 The Doors debut record. It's not like she bought it in 67, which to me it's just like a relic of the time. And so those two would definitely be my favorite.
All right, so I normally do this halfway mark, but I'll start it early tonight. You can flip it and ask me stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite album that you own currently?
Favorite album? Unfortunately, majority of my stuff's in storage, but I'm gonna have to say, record wise, I follow the leader.
How successful do you think this Blink 182 World Tour is going to be?
That's a
They're
good question.
pricey.
I really have mixed feelings on that because it I'm probably gonna get some shit for it, and I don't care. Um, you haven't produced anything in 10 years or more, and you're charging $700 or more just for GA. You out your mind. I'm sorry. Like there's certain bands that like I do have my bucket list of like there's only like I'm saying national acts. There's like two that I have not seen yet that I really wanted to see. Probably not going to happen because of the price of the ticket. I'm I would go if somebody gave me freebies or I was listed. I'm not, I'm not jumping at it.
Yeah, I think
Like here's my thing. If you don't put the work into anything you do, I'm not saying they haven't in the past, but it's a reunion tour or whatever the case may be. You shouldn't be charging that. You shouldn't be charging that.
yeah, because I wanted to go, and if prices drop, I'm definitely going to go. If they drop to something that I would consider reasonable.
You're the second person to say that to me. You're the
Right.
second person to say that to me. The lowest I could find is 155,
Yeah.
and
So like
and
that's
that's
how it was.
GA.
Yeah, that's how it was in my city, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do that. Um, so, but what's interesting is there's so much hype around this when it was like being announced and everything, and I thought this tour is going to sell out in 30 minutes, and then once the word got out of the prices, I was like, never mind. And interestingly enough, the tickets have been on sale a week, and it's still not sold out in my city, and it's not a big arena they're playing in. It's 12,000 people, which is
Like
not big for a diamond band.
I get the business aspect of it. I truly do. I see the business aspect of it. Everybody needs to get paid for what they do. But you're going back to selling out places for $10, $12, 20. Then it went up to 30, then 45, then 75, then 700 for GA. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, $700 for a ticket.
For
That's
GA,
Nuts.
for GA, no less.
Yeah, for the worst seats in the house.
No, I love GA. I'm a GA person or lawn. I have the best time either. Doesn't matter. I don't. I mean, not unless weather predicting. I don't get seats. I did get seats for Megadeth Five Finger Death Punch because they were $15
Wow.
in the 100s. I have photos that I've already posted. Yeah,
Wow.
for an upgrade was $15 that night.
wow.
Couldn't pass that up for anything. Yeah, like I don't. I think that's pretty crazy. I think the dynamics on everything of that's pretty crazy. Same thing with what do you call it? As we were young tour. Like first they got canceled. Okay, and they
Mhm.
did a pretty good job. Some of the bands did a pretty good job finding other places to play to for their fans,
Mhm.
but it wasn't directed. I mean, there should have been a makeup date where I know people flew in from North Carolina. I've seen London. Everybody flew in for this for Vegas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They should have had a plan B.
Yeah.
There's so many venues there that could split it up, or like you paid for the festival. Okay, you wanted to see these three. Go see these three here. And honor it. You know what I'm saying? Figure out the money afterwards. But that's just me.
Right. Yeah.
Those are the only two hot topics at the moment. There's plenty of more that are I don't even know how to chime in on. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Since I have you both here, what advice would you give somebody coming up now in the industry,
Hmm.
and what to shy away from?
I would just say, um, be curious. Be very curious, and treat people as respectfully as possible because there's a lot of disrespect in this industry, and so the more respect there is, the better it's going to be. Be curious because that's going to be your driver for everything. I mean, when I got into playing in a band, I thought I was going to play guitar. That's all I thought I was going to do. It's like a joke now. I mean, like when you're in a band, you are also the marketing department and the accounting department and the finance department and the merchandise department. I mean, you are all those things until you get to a point where you can delegate it out. And so you're going to have to learn how to do those things. You're going to have to learn how do you advertise your YouTube video? How do you even make a music video? How do you meet people to interview? How do you network with other bands? How do you all this stuff? You got to be curious. You got to want to learn more and meet people and make form relationships and make friends with people. And Mindy and I have talked about this before that nobody is going to have the appreciation for what musicians do as much as other musicians. So we got to support each other. Yeah, a rising tide lifts all boats, and so if Mindy does well, then I'm going to do well, and vice versa.
Very true. That's great advice, actually. Definitely those things for sure. I'll just add to that because those are very good points. I would also say don't believe everything you hear because people are going to try to sell you on a lot of things that aren't necessarily going to be real or true. Um, Never forget who you are because it's really, really easy to do, especially in this industry. You kind of have to figure out who you are before you figure out what you want. Um, yeah, I think those are all really good points. Just be good to people; they'll be good to you.
Well, this kind of follows up. What is your biggest pet peeve in the industry?
Ego.
Um, like I don't know how to put it, but like situations where lack of organization, I would say. I guess that's the best way to put it. I see a lot of that in the business for some reason. Like I'll give you an example. One of my bands was double booked 2 weeks ago. So the venue booked us and they booked somebody else. And they're like, can you split the bill with these guys? And we're like, I mean, we're not happy about it, but we will. But like that stuff like that happens all the time. Like it's shocking now. It's like, don't y'all have like Google Calendar or something that can solve these kinds of things? So, at times it feels like your patience really gets tested. Um, there's a lot of really, really awesome people in this industry, but there's also like you run into a lot of knuckleheads too.
Yeah, for sure. I think my biggest pet peeve is big egos. Like, we're all playing the same venues, we're all wanting the same things, we're all reaching for the same goals. And I really personally don't understand why so many people in the business just think they're better than everybody else and want to talk down to everybody else. There's just no sense in any of that. I agree with the disorganization, but I really just, I don't like assholes.
So you had to split the bill, but like, how did that work when it came down to the meat and potatoes? Did you actually, was there a profit being made at all?
Well, what happened with that one is so like at the beginning of the day, I was told this, hey, we double booked, so can you split? And we want a good relationship with this guy booking, so we said yes, but we were not thrilled about it. And then maybe 4 or 5 hours later, he said, never mind, the other band doesn't want to split a bill, so it's just you guys again. We're like, perfect, sounds good. That's what we wanted in the first place. Um, but yeah, we didn't have to cross that bridge of how's the money going to be split or anything like that.
Well, that worked out.
Yeah.
That's what you get for being the good guy and actually trying to do what you needed to do.
Yeah, it was like kind of shitty because he said, hey, like he gave me that drop that whole bomb. Hey, we need you to split with these guys. Okay, yeah, we'll do it. And then he followed it up with, oh hey, by the way, can their drummer use your drummer's kit? And I was like, dog, you are killing me right now. And but Connor's a good sport always, and he was like, yeah, they can use my kit. And so I said, yeah, no problem. That we can share. That'll probably make everything easier. And then they backed out. So but yeah, we got hit with a double whammy.
This goes for both of you. When you're both on stage, I've always wanted to ask this question. When you're singing or when you close your eyes, is that so you're the lights, or is it just that moment of just you're doing this, or is it breathing, or like all singers do it?
Like if I ever close, I mean, yeah, I think it kind of helps you focus on, like if you consciously think about like what is your hand feeling right now. Before somebody asked you that, you weren't thinking about it, but you could still feel your hand. You know what I mean? Or like what is your foot feel like right now? Then you start thinking about that. Well, when you close your eyes when you're singing, I think you can focus a little bit better on like what are the muscles in your throat doing. How are your vowel modifications or whatever. You can kind of focus on that a little bit better. But I'm usually not. I'm usually thinking like either like um, I hope more people show up or like we've got people here. Let's keep them engaged and keep them having a good time. I'm usually thinking one of those two things.
That's a good answer. I definitely feel the same way. I think it's just kind of a way to shut out all the noise, to shut out the people, to just kind of focus on what I'm doing at that very moment. It just kind of helps me concentrate. And then when I come back, it's like a movie. You go from zero noise to the second that your eyes are open again, you're back in front of all these people doing what you love. So it's kind of a breaking moment, I think, for a second.
So I was always wondering that because, like, I know, like, I always thought it was, voice control and everything else, so you could hold the note or, that Zen moment of
Yeah,
peace.
yeah, kind of.
If you could bring back one thing, well, actually, I'll give you three things from the '90s. What would you bring back?
Ooh, man, there's so many cool things from the '90s. We can only bring back three.
I'll give you five.
um,
You twisted my arm there. I'll give you five.
bring back the TV show Keenan and Kel.
Hmm.
um, bring back 1990s Will Smith. No. How about rap metal? 90s rap metal is awesome.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, spiky hair, chin strap beards. I'm here for it.
Hmm. Gosh, that's so hard. The '90s were my favorite. I'd say bring back '90s alternative because that's my favorite music of all time. Um, bring back the new metal phase. New metal was super cool. Not that we don't have that; it's just a different genre now.
Yeah.
Um, I would bring back the show Friends because it's like my comfort TV show when I'm sad. Um, flannel being cool because I still wear flannel and it's not as cool as the grunge era. Um, hmm, food, 90s foods. I miss a lot of the 90s foods that we no longer have anymore.
Like what?
Like what? Like what's
What was your
your?
favorite '90s food?
So there's a lot of things that like they've brought back that does not have the same ingredients and doesn't taste the same. Like, for instance, I was just talking about the Doritos 3D the other day.
Yeah, they don't taste the same.
It does not taste the same. It's really awful. Um, I think my favorite 90s food that they don't have anymore, they had these Planters peanuts and they look like peanuts, but they were chocolate, but on the inside they were peanut butter. And it was like the best thing ever. I was just talking about that the other day too, but there's so many like snacks. I think 90s snacks probably more so than anything, or the 90s drinks like Vault and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like '90s foods that were. I mean, maybe I just live under a rock and they still have them, and I just haven't noticed. But like fruit by the foot, does that still exist?
Yep.
So bad for you. It's just like a big like strip of sugar and like corn syrup. That's it. But
Yep.
man, I used to tear up some fruit by the foot. Fruit roll ups. I used to get into them. Gushers. Remember Gushers?
They
Do the
still have those, but they're
Yeah.
not the same. They don't taste the same. It's another one of those things that they still have, but they've changed it. It's awful.
Same thing.
okay.
Same thing with Dunkaroos. Doesn't taste
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Like it does, but I
I think they just went cheaper with everything. Like now everything's about money, so they just kind of cut corners and everything just tastes cheaper. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
yep.
Or they might still have this, but Fun Dip. Remember Fun Dip?
Yes.
Does that still exist?
Yes.
Yeah, that's another thing that would like they were like, here, parents, give your kids pure sugar. And our parents bought it for some reason.
Or like candy cigarettes. I'm guessing they don't do that now because, we don't condone cigarettes at all.
Actually, Five Below has them.
They have candy cigarettes.
At
That's
Five Below,
dope.
yes. Yeah, you can buy a box.
Yeah, I used to be all about some candy cigarettes too.
Me too. Maybe I'll resort to that now that I'm not smoking for real. Just pretend.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that like during a show. I'm gonna pretend to light it and everything. Like
I can make that happen. I'll send them your way.
nice.
Okay, I still see them somewhere. Like,
Uh, yeah, I really liked Power Rangers in the '90s.
Me too. That
The,
was my favorite show, man.
the
Power Rangers,
original.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, and like the original because they did so many versions of Power Rangers. Like there's one point where they were like in space or something, and then they were ninjas, and
Yeah.
you couldn't keep up. But the original one with Jason, I don't remember any of their names, but I remember the Red Ranger was Jason. I do remember. Oh, Billy was the Blue Ranger. I can remember.
Yeah. And then they had Kimberly and Trini and Tommy.
Oh, Tommy was the stoner. That's why they made him green. He was a Green Ranger because he smoked weed. I didn't pick up on that for years. Yeah, he had the long hair and everything.
Yep.
He was the only musician out of all of them too. He played the flute knife. Remember that?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Tommy the stoner who plays jazz flute on a knife. That dude probably knew how to party.
So, in the neighborhood that I grew up in, like we had too many girls, and so they would always make me be Tommy because Tommy had long hair.
Oh.
I was like, damn it.
Heck yeah.
So your new music video is dropping in a couple days, right?
November 18th.
Where was that shot?
We have this friend who has this nice house. He has like a gambling room and he has a pool and he has like an outdoor bar and all kinds of cool stuff. So we shot there because we thought we could get like cool shots like playing craps or like playing like music around the pool or playing at the bar or whatever. So yeah. Shout out to Eric hooking us up with his house.
Yeah, that was super cool. Not gonna lie, probably the coolest video I've ever been a part of.
So, so that's going to be premiering on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, we're dropping it. We'll drop it on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Pandora, whatever you use, and then the video's dropping on YouTube. Yeah, on Friday, November 18th. We like Friday releases. For some reason, I feel like I see music be released on either a Tuesday or a Friday.
I was going to ask about that actually.
I've never got the Tuesday release. Maybe one of you can enlighten me if there's like some sort of secret about it. But to me, that's like what I look forward to. Is like when I get in the car to go to work on Friday, the first thing I do is go to Spotify and see like who released what last night. Yeah, it's like a highlight to the end of the week for me.
Yeah, our management was explaining that to us that it's usually always Tuesdays or Fridays, and he was saying that for some reason algorithms are better on Tuesdays because on Mondays, of course, it's like the beginning of the week. A lot of people are trying to get caught up or whatever, but Tuesday is kind of usually the actual start to a lot of people's weeks, and so for some reason people are more on Tuesdays than they are any other day of the week. I have no idea why, but supposedly that's a thing.
I always like the two. I mean, for a consumer or whatever the case may be, Tuesdays and Fridays, yeah, it gives you something to look forward to. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's not, what do you call it, so congested. Like, oh, somebody drops something on Tuesday, there's something Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like,
Uh-huh.
it, but do you get to pick the date that you want to drop it?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we got to be kind of careful. Like, for example, like November and December, obviously difficult months because of like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and you got to kind of work around that because you might get buried in the social media world because there's going to be so much stuff to distract people, or they're not necessarily glued to their phones if they're at home with family. So you got to kind of work around that, or if there's anything significant going on in the world, got to kind of work around that as well.
So if another artist is dropping the same date as you, do they prefer you not to drop that date? Like I'm saying, like analytic wise or billboard wise, or
I don't know. That's a good question. Like if two bands that are in competition with each other were going to drop music on the same day, I feel like that would help each other. You
Yeah, I
know?
was gonna say I don't think that they like our the way that our management explained it to us. I don't think that they necessarily care, but it's kind of up to you because say if okay, we drop a music video and Almost Gone drops a music video the same day, it will help because we, we're friends, we help each other, we want to see each other
yeah,
succeed. So we're, our fans will see it, their fans will see it because we'll share it. But say if it's like we drop a music video and Metallica drops a music video, more people are probably going to go and see that. So it's really going to be up to you. They're not going to care, but it's really going to be your choice on if you want to take that chance or not. So could be an iffy thing either way.
going back to because my analytics are different than yours. How? I mean, when do you have somebody on your camp that looks at that constantly, or is it just you wait a couple weeks, you look at it, wait a couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean,
So go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say, yeah, me. I look at it constantly. I mean, that's basically what it is on our end. We pay attention to like I'm a big nerd when it comes to this stuff. So every single we've ever released, I keep a Google Doc where I write when we released it, how we promoted it on Spotify, how we promoted it on social media, how we, how much money we put into YouTube ad campaigns, Google ad campaigns, what, Spotify promotion service we use. Like I keep track of all that shit. And then I look at like how many streams do we get in the first week? How many views do we get in the first week? And I record that so that the next time we're going to release a single, I don't, at least I can learn from what I've done in the past. I can look at what worked well and what, maybe I don't want to go with this promotion service or that one again because I didn't get the numbers I was looking for.
Yeah, it's the same for us. If you don't have a management team, which for the first 2 years we didn't, and that was just all us, like he said, it's just checking back, recording things. Like we literally record everything. But when you're a DIY band, you kind of have to because you're the one that's taking care of all of that. Now with our management team, now that we have one, they kind of help us with a lot of that, but it's more important that they keep up the things like with releases. If it's a big release, then they're going to let you know, hey, you need to release on this day at this time. These are the amount of people that are going to be backing you. These are the people that you need to talk to and connect with and try and get interviews done to back it up. All these other things that, we normally wouldn't even think about until now. But that's the great thing about having a management team is not just because they help you with that, but if something happens that we no longer have that management team, they have now taught us how to do these things for ourselves.
Seeing if your mic went out because I can't hear anything. So at this time, do you have any messages for your fans? That goes for both of you.
Yeah, check out Comfort Kills music video dropping November 18th. Like everybody who's listening to my bands, huge. I cannot stress this enough. Huge thank you. It's kind of a building process, and it probably always will be. I was listening to a music industry podcast earlier, and they said like, as an artist, one thing you got to come to terms with is you're pretty much always going to struggle. You might get to a point where you're making money and you can make a living and all that stuff, and that's great. But like you're always pretty much going to have to be clawing to grow, otherwise you're going to shrink. So you just got to kind of accept that you got to always be working at it. And, there was a time before I was in a band at all, and, I didn't have anybody to listen to my music or anybody to come to my show. And now that there are people that listen to my music and come to my show, like, I cannot, seriously, like, a lot of work has gone into that, and it is so elevating that there are people out there that appreciate it. So just massive thank you, and see you at the next one.
Yeah, definitely agree with all of that. Definitely, please, if you are within the sound of my voice, please check out Comfort Kills. This is something different than anything I've done, and I appreciate Almost Gone for giving me the opportunity to do a different side of myself, a more fun side of myself, and to be able to get new music out that, tells a different story from what I'm normally writing. Thank you to the fans, obviously, for helping us grow, for getting us to where we've always wanted to be, and just for listening and giving us an outlet to continue to be happy and healthy. And to you, Robert, thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate this.
You guys are welcome. Is there anything else you would like to promote and where to be followed?
Yeah, you can follow. Please follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. We are Almost Gone RVA. So that's literally an R, a V, and an A. That's short for Richmond, Virginia. Same thing with YouTube, Almost Gone RVA. And while I'm at it, I'll plug my metal band, my metalcore band. If you're a fan of I Prevail, Day to Remember, Attila, then you'll be a fan of my metal band, Seasons. You can find us on all social media platforms, Seasons RVA. And we're on all that stuff, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on all those.
Yeah, same for us. If you're into metalcore, definitely check out Dying Oath. We are on every social media platform known to man, driving everyone crazy. Check that out. But also check out Almost Gone so that you can see the video that we're collabing on next month.
So before I let you guys go, this is going to be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and probably TikTok at some point. And now it's my time to plug. Please make sure you hit the stupid red button that says subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. We were at 830. There is merch. There is, once we hit the 1,000 mark, I will be doing another giveaway. It could be a show. It could be merch. I don't know yet. Most likely it will be a show. I'd like to thank you guys again and have a great night.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.